What really gets my dick hard is
so fucking what? You're in the face, not the key to your mouth. Touch it, see it. You're in the face, there's a piece of your head. Touch it, feel it, breathe it. Because this is not what doing. I bet you never knew you would. It doesn't run away from it.
Welcome to Metalupyour Podcast. I'm Ethan Luck.
And I'm Clint Wells.
And we're at episode number 46.
We're 46 years old.
46 years old. Happy birthday,
In
man.
podcast years.
Yeah, in podcast years. It's
Happy
like dog
birthday.
years.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, great news. We are together.
We're together at last.
Yes. And I mean, I guess we're kind of together. We're both married, but we're together.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a capital T, together.
Yeah, together. I'm back in Nashville.
Welcome home.
Thank you. I'm only home for a couple of days, but my next trip is only 5 days long, and then I'm home for good.
What are we going to do with all this time together?
More episodes.
Oh, there we go.
All the episodes we can cram into this
We're going to
little
frolic
garage.
through the Metallica fields together. Of course, in the nude.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. God, we need definitely a slow-mo video of that.
For those of you tuning in for the first time, we're an all Metallica podcast. We're two fans united in our love of not only Metallica but music in general. And we got together almost a year ago. We're coming up on a whole year, and
What?
all we do really is talk about Metallica. So if you're coming in for the first time for whatever reason,
Welcome.
maybe you saw us on the forums, maybe you saw us on Reddit, maybe your good friend James Hetfield told you about the show.
Well, in that case, tell your good friend James Hetfield to
He needs
check
to
out the
come on
show,
the show.
and
Yeah.
email us, James. No, if you're listening for the first time, we really appreciate you checking us out. And however you found us, thank you for stumbling upon Metalupyour Podcast. And this is something that we've been very passionate about. Like Clint said, almost a year. Yeah, we just talk about Metallica. We're just Metallica nerds like yourselves.
And speaking of that, we're doing this really cool thing where we're doing a giveaway. If you've not heard, the Master of Puppets box set, deluxe box set is coming out. It's coming out actually in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, very soon.
And we have purchased one through the generous donations of our patrons, and we are giving it away at the end of the month of November. The only thing you have to do to make yourself eligible for that is leave us a positive review on iTunes.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a drawing at the end of the month, and whoever wins, we're going to send you that box set. A box set, by the way, that neither Ethan nor myself own ourselves.
Oh no, we don't know. It's expensive. It's not cheap, and we have mouths to feed and bills to pay, and one day we will own it, but right now we don't.
I actually, so per our last episode, we were talking about seeing foreign countries' iTunes reviews. I actually found
Did you find the thing I was
found
talking
the
about?
clicky thing.
Yeah, right.
The clicky thing. The
clicky
internet
thing.
just happened like a year ago. I found the clicky thing where, and I like, we have like a shit ton of reviews in Canada and Europe that I never saw.
Oh, the Canadians love us.
So thank you to all of you who love those reviews. You will no longer go unnoticed or uncounted. You've been added to the master list.
Yeah.
So this is a worldwide contest, and we're going to be doing this every month from now on. Where we're going to,
Oh, yeah.
we've been brainstorming. We're going to give away box sets. We're going to give away some Kirk Hammett pedals.
Yep.
We've got a shit ton of cool T-shirts that our friend Tiffany sent us.
Tiffany, we mentioned this in the last episode, but I just got home from tour this morning to a box in my house. I opened it thinking,
What's in the box?
What's in the box? I thought, she sent us a shirt or two. She sent us 10 T-shirts.
10 unique fifth member like Met Club shirts.
Oh yeah, stuff you can't get like in the pop-up stores at the shows. Really cool shit. And I think the newest thing that was sent was like 2008, 09 maybe.
They're all really unique and really cool. I did snag the St. Anger one.
You did, yes.
I sort of had to.
You deserve it.
So we're going to be giving those away, and we're actually doing a patron specific contest in December, and we'll let you all know more about that. We don't want to bore you too much with it. Speaking of patrons, tell them what the patron thing is.
Oh, the patron thing is? Okay. The patron thing is this. If you want to financially give back to the show your support, what it does is it allows Clint and I to print merch, patches, t-shirts, stickers, picks, things like that. But most importantly, on Patreon, Clint and I, as we've talked about forever, are doing a 6-song Metallica cover EP. And if you're a patron who donates $5 or more, guess what? You get that EP.
And if you donate only $1, you get an MP3 of our version of The Unnamed Feeling.
Correct.
Plus a shout on the show. We got 2 new patrons this week.
Who are they?
We did not talk about this beforehand. I'm sad that it's fallen on me to say these names because I'm not going to say them right. We mean no disrespect, but our 2 new patrons are Sanjit Ang and
That's a tough one.
Ujwal Pandey, who I'm guessing are from New Jersey.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
If I said your dudes or dudesses, okay. I'm retarded, apparently.
2 J's in a name. That's crazy.
Well, they do things differently. in
Maybe
New Jersey.
send us a message on Patreon or email us on how to phonetically pronounce your name, because I am curious.
Well, and here's the deal. I know I didn't say your name right, and I apologize, but I'm super duper honored and thankful that you guys decided to be a patron of the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So thank you guys. The patron contest we're going to do in December. Here's the deal. The iTunes review contest. We have like 160 or so reviews. So we're going to do a contest where we draw maybe 5 winners with varying degrees of prizes.
Yeah.
The patron contest we're doing December, however, there's only about 50 patrons. So your chances of winning that are a lot higher. So go check out that. We wanted to talk a little bit about the news because one of the most exciting things happened this weekend.
Well, first of all, we don't often talk about news, and I'm glad we're talking about it because Metallica is currently on tour in the UK and Europe, and it's exciting shit. We might mention it here and there, but this week...
probably the most anticipated thing has happened in a long time, right?
Spit out the motherfucking bone.
We got Spit Out the Bone. They debuted it in London.
Yeah.
And they've played it 3 shows in a row.
Yeah, they did it both nights in London and in Glasgow. And probably in Manchester tonight, I think, right? As this episode is out, they've already played it, but...
they played it in Manchester. They'll probably play it in Birmingham.
Did they do it on the second show in London?
It was the second show of London.
Okay, so 3 times. Second show in London, Glasgow and Manchester.
And then Manchester, that's right.
Fucking A, man. We've been talking about this for a while because there's been tuning room footage of them doing it and just, hacking it out and stuff.
I'll say that, all right, well, we're going to have to talk about this. All the fans are curious about this. Okay. We've been getting tweeted at about it.
Oh, yeah. Instagrammed at.
Instagrammed at.
And I've been getting Facebooked at.
Here's the deal. It's badass. It's the song we've been waiting for, and it delivers. They are using the intro. They're doing an intro tape.
Yeah, which we love.
I'm fine with intro tapes, and some fans are saying, well, it's because Lars can't do that snare intro. I don't know. Yeah, he can probably.
He can do the outro to one that. He can do that.
I don't think they're doing the intro tape to sort of get out of anything. I think they're doing the intro tape because they put it in the what has henceforth to have not been
become.
The sort of thrash slab, Blackened, Battery, Fight Fire.
Yeah, it's also the first song of their encore too.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's that slot where they've been. All those songs have intros.
Well, what the intro tape to me does is build anticipation.
It generates excitement.
When they do, when we saw them, they did Battery,
right? And
it was like you hear that, and you're like, oh my god, here it comes.
When we saw them with Moke, they did Blackened.
Oh fuck, you're right. Sorry, my memory is.
They did Battery when I saw them in St. Louis. What did they do in Philly?
In Philly, they did Battery.
Okay, cool. So you got Battery.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
But I think it builds anticipation. It's like you hear that intro and you're like, oh my god, like it's coming. You're just waiting for it, and with something like Spit Out the Bone, because it's brand new live debut, you don't know at what point they're coming
in.
And it fucking rips, man.
I think so. And to me the most fun riff is the da 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 da, and they do that.
Yeah.
You get the 4 count. The other thing that we have to talk about, the controversial thing about Spit Out the Bone, is that our homie, Rob Trujillo, is singing, unfortunately, probably one of my favorite moments on all of Hardwired.
Me too,
is that half of the verse that is so killer.
I'm not... I know we agree on this because we texted about it a bunch this week while I was gone. The whole trading verse line things in this song, like... I know that Hetfield could pull it off.
He could.
For sure.
No doubt.
I mean, he sings Battery fine every night.
He sings That Was Just Your Life. He's fine.
Yeah, he has been singing those songs for a lot longer. I know that, but I just wonder what the decision was. Like, was Hetfield like, maybe it'd be cool if we did this? I just don't think Rob has the voice. Now, he's not singing it poorly. Like, his notes are there.
I think he's definitely doing it the best he can. I'll say that.
Yes. I just would, I think, you and I both would prefer if Hetfield just covered both of those lines each time.
Through your fragile skin.
I mean, I guess after that line, there is a bit of a breath you have to take to go in the next part, but...
Remove your heart. I mean, yeah, but you know what I wonder?
Remove your heart. It's only for a beat in. There's breaths right there. You can do it.
And they are playing it a bit faster than the record.
Yeah,
I mean, which is insane because it's so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, here's my theory, and this is a positive theory. The theories are that James can't do it or blah, blah, blah. My theory is that this is Robert's favorite song from Hardwired.
Yeah.
And even if you go back into the sort of promo interviews they did with the band at HQ, Rob even says, he's like, my favorite song is Spit Out the Bone.
Yeah.
And if you have been diligently and without a life like me, been watching all the tuning rooms from when the World Wired Tour started, it was always Rob in the tuning room saying, let's try Spit Out the Bone. Let's do it from the beginning. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's even a thing where Rob requested to sing those lines because he's such a champion of that song.
I think either that or Hetfield knew he loved that song so much he suggested
he spit out the bone and threw it to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
He threw him a spit out the bone.
He threw him a spit out the bone.
Well, I'll say this. I'm not going to be one of these fans that fucking begged and begged and begged for it only to just criticize it when it finally happens.
Of course not.
I'm super fucking stoked. And I will say the mixed Met version that they put out does sound better than the audience recordings I saw.
It does, yeah. Yeah, you and I both immediately went to YouTube and started looking up fan posted
and it was
footage.
It was kind of rough from the old iPhone.
Well, a lot of times, like any show you look up on YouTube with someone films with their iPhone, it's like it's shaky and you're excited, you're watching a show, you can't stand still and hold your phone up. You're sitting there, it's shaky footage and the audio gets weird. You're filming your friends, like, oh my God, they're playing the song. So when they did the official Met Club mix, it sounded way better.
And I haven't yet heard or seen the versions from Scotland or from Manchester yet, but
I watched Scotland. It sounds great.
The fact that they're doing it 3 nights in a row, they're not even rotating that slot, leads me to believe that they're excited about it, and it's only going to get better.
Yes.
And it might even become a staple.
Agreed.
Moth is already a staple.
Yes, of course.
They'll be playing Moth 10 years from now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Maybe even Atlas. I don't know. I don't know if Hardwired the song will live long after this tour.
Man, I mean, it's been the opener for the whole tour.
Yeah,
it could be. I mean, it's getting up there in that slot, in that opening slot of a battery. But
That Was Just Your Life was the opener for the Whole World Magnetic Tour, and they don't ever play that anymore.
Yeah. True.
The ones that lived from they're playing The Day That Never Comes.
Yeah, they just started playing that again, yeah.
Dude, over in Europe, they're playing Confusion, Dream No More. They
got a cover slot.
They're doing Leper Messiah. They're doing a cover slot. They're playing Damage Inc. It's a great tour over there.
We should have flown there.
Well, they're going to come to the U.S. and do all these tunes. Maybe even more.
I mean, if the next tour in the U.S. is an in the round arena tour, I think we're in for a treat, and they're going to keep doing that kind of stuff.
And I would say, lastly, to wrap up this kind of exciting stuff that's happening over there, is our friend Tom Quee over at Alpha Metallica, which is another Metallica podcast you guys should check out. He's a friend of ours. Ethan and I have both been guests on his show. Tom will be a guest on our show in the future. I think Birmingham, which was tonight, is his first Metallica show. First show.
Wow.
So good for him.
Amazing.
What a good time to go see him.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say is I was featured on a podcast this week.
Yeah,
I don't even know if you knew this about this.
No, we didn't even talk about this like outside of the podcast. We when I saw you posted it on Instagram on our joint account here.
Right.
And I was like, wait a second, what's this? And I was like,
it happened kind of...
filmmakers drinking bourbon. What is this?
It happened kind of fast. I met this cat. I was doing a show in Ohio. And after the show, a friend of our fiddle players came to the show and we were having drinks afterwards. And he does this podcast called Filmmakers Drinking Bourbon. And it's these dudes who get together and clinkety clink their glasses. And they're all filmmakers. Obviously, for anyone who knows me, I'm not a filmmaker, but I am a cinephile.
Yeah.
And so we got to talking about horror films and movies and Brian De Palma and some of our favorite directors, and he invited me to be a guest on the show. I did that. It's out now. Our episode's called Fade to Black. It's their latest episode. We talk about Metallica a lot, which was interesting to talk about Metallica, not on this show.
Yeah.
We talked about horror films, talked about movie culture, benefits and pros and cons of binge watching on Netflix. We talked about Stranger Things, It was a really great conversation.
Awesome.
So any of you who are interested in that, go check it out.
Yeah, please do.
And I think that's all the news. Are we ready to get into some emails?
Let's get in some emails.
All right, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off. Our first email is from Levi Timson. Great job on the podcast. You could quit now and I'd be satisfied because all of your shows put together so far add up to a great biography and in-depth look at all of their albums.
All right, cool. Good night then.
Good night.
See ya.
This is it. We're done.
Just
kidding.
kidding.
The Metallica family is thankful for your service, Levi Timson. I almost said Thompson. Well, thanks, Levi. We appreciate it.
Well, we're not quitting anytime soon. But that is
And
a
by
nice
that we
email.
mean like in like 2 weeks we'll be done.
Yeah, we got about 2 more weeks.
Yeah, I think we've covered all the records. We're done.
Thanks, Levi. D. Heim says, hey guys, finally got through all your episodes and I'm pretty sad now I don't have anything new to listen to except once a week. I'll still revisit old episodes a lot for sure. Now I'm listening to Metallica's whole discography for new revelations. Reload went from 7 to 8 on my list to probably number 4.
Whoa.
And now I know what you guys love about Fixer. That's the only song I played on repeat, not because I didn't want to listen to the others, but because that was the first time I ever gave it a real chance. I don't know why I didn't love it the first few times I listened to it. Anyway, just got done with Death Magnetic, and I've been dreading the next one. He says, also, I didn't dread Saint Anger at all. To be honest, I used to really like that album. Wish me luck. I'm diving into Lulu. God help me.
He's willingly diving into Lulu.
Well, we're going to have to dive into it soon, too. We got the Lulu episode coming up.
Ugh.
Yikes.
I'm very nervous.
Yikes.
I was nervous about Saint Anger.
But that turned out pretty good, right?
I thought it turned out good. Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback on that one. But Lulu, ooh, yikes. We'll see.
All right.
Our next email is from I think we dubbed right before the show, maybe our number one fan.
Yeah, this next email, I think we can clearly say, at least at this point, that this is from our number one fan. And who is it, Ethan?
This is our good friend, Sarah Sovak.
Yay, Sarah.
Who we finally got to meet a little while back in Detroit when we did our road trip episodes. But Sarah writes in and says, I finally have Wi-Fi. By the way, she is in the UK right now.
I think she went to London, Scotland, and Manchester.
Yeah, she's over there committing her life to Metallica. It's amazing. Damn. She says, if I have Wi-Fi at my hotel and listen to the newest episode, I'm so glad to have brightened your day after you got home with gifts. As you heard in the last episode, she sent us a nice card, some patches, and a Hulk Hogan action figure. You are part of the Metallica family, and we try our best to remind each other that it feels good to be alive. Amen. Mm-hmm. I also wanted to show my appreciation to you guys for what you give to all of us. In general, I am really a happy person, but as we all do, I have had some really tough, rough days, and listening to you guys has pulled me through. And a little heart emoji. Thank you, sir. Cheers from Scotland. Headed to Manchester soon. 3 of 5 shows done so far. The UK tour is mind-blowing. Talk soon, Sarah.
Very cool.
Well, as we just mentioned earlier before the emails, yes, the UK tour is mind-blowing.
And speaking of all the statistics on that, our friend Dina Lindemann, who's also a patron of the show, has sent me an updated... She's been taking every set list since the Worldwide Tour started and sort of graphing out and putting on a very interesting visible chart what they are and are not playing.
Right, yeah.
And what slots they fall in, and she's like an accountant by trade. She's like a numbers nerd,
a genius.
I was gonna say genius, but numbers nerd came out for some reason.
Also known as genius. Yeah.
So I'll be posting that to our socials in the next few days. So thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Always good to hear from Sarah. Our next email is from BW Kamen. He said, "Short and sweet. Love the show. It's really reignited my love for this band. Is it possible for you to get the show onto Stitcher? I listen to all my podcasts there except yours. Thanks, Mike Dvorak from New Jersey, Minnesota."
We talked about this earlier. Stitcher, I assume. I don't know if that's an iOS app or just.
It's a sewing app.
It's a sewing app.
What he does is he's sewing he's making a quilt out of 1,000 Metallica t-shirts, and he's looking to listen to our podcast.
Got it. Okay, got it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do some more research on Stitcher then. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
No, Stitcher, I'll have to do some research because I don't know if that is an Android app or...
It's a sewing app. I told you.
You're right.
What do we just call back to this joke for the next hour?
He or she, sorry, he never gets an answer.
No, it's a he. It's
Mike.
Mike. He signed
Mike
it.
could be a girl. From New Jersey. Mikkel. Mike is short for Mikkel. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
See?
My Mikkel.
Yeah, my Mikkel. Okay, so Stitcher. I've never heard of Stitcher. If anyone,
it's a sewing app. You got to quit saying you've never heard of it because I'm never going to not
You're
say
gonna
that.
insert it. Okay.
It's a sewing.
It's a sewing app.
We'll figure it out.
How about this? If you're on the app Stitcher, which I've heard of now,
Yeah. Sewing up. Yeah.
if there's a search option, just type in Metal Up Your Podcast. Now, write into us if that doesn't work, and I will do my research through our hosting service and see how we can get it
Mike,
on,
we're
Stitcher.
going to get to the bottom of this mystery.
because I don't know what Stitcher is.
It's a sewing app.
It's a sewing app.
It's an app you go to when you're sewing a quilt. It's a meat-free quilt sewing app. I looked it up on Stitcher.
I use this all the time. It's great.
We'll figure it out, Mike. We'll get you worked out.
Oh, all right, Mikkel. Next, haven't had the church giggles in
Dude,
a while.
Mikkel is such a good sewer, dude.
Mikkel's a great.
She's great.
A seamster or seamstress.
Seamstress.
Our next email. Oh man,
Bill. Just Bill.
Let's just say Bill. Bill at gmail.com. Bill says, "Hey guys, also short and sweet. I've seen Metallica in the round and normal stage setup. Which type of staging do you guys prefer seeing Metallica or any performer when you see shows, specifically in arena/stadium? Sincerely, Bill."
I think in the round's the best.
In the round is pretty badass. I mean, when we saw Metallica in Detroit, it was obviously a stadium show. They're at one end of the field. We're back by Big Mick. It was still great.
Yeah, it was great.
But in the round gives almost everybody a pretty
there's not a
good
bad
perspective.
Seat. There's not a bad seat in the round.
I got to see them in the round in Australia, as I've talked about in previous episodes, and it was pretty fucking awesome. Especially like the way Metallica does it, they switch positions. Like
Yeah, it was basically four front rails.
exactly,
depending on where you're at in the show.
The drum kit rotates. All the band members are moving positions. It's a great thing to see.
I fortunately got to see the Snake Pit, or see the stadium tour from two.
You saw the Snake Pit?
I saw it a couple of times. Just looked at it. It looked really snaky.
Look real sweet.
Yeah, I got to be in the Snake Pit in St. Louis, and then we watched it obviously from, as Ethan just said, from Big Mick's tent in Detroit. Obviously, being in the Snake Pit was a fucking jam, and I will say it's a bummer.
The jammiest.
It's a bummer of the arena shows that there's no Snake Pit, but I think it's more kinetic. There's more energy. I think you feel more part of what's going on. Whereas in a stadium, which we were just by Big Mick, and I still felt a little disconnected because I was kind of coming off the Snake Pit vibes. But I can't even imagine being up in the triple deck of the stadium we were in.
Yeah, I mean those screens were so fucking big. I imagine that you still feel connected, but it is cool to like look at the screens and also look at like the actual dudes on stage, like the human beings that are Metallica. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, personal preference, I guess. I mean, I think if I had to choose, I'd say in the round.
Well, and we're very much looking forward to the 2018 Arena Tour in the States. We will be going to multiple shows, and we look forward to saying hi to a lot of you when we do it.
Oh, yeah.
And short and sweet, that concludes our goddamn emails.
That's it for emails.
If you want to email us and have your thing read on the show, you can email us at metalupyourpodcastshow@gmail.com. I'm ready to talk about Garage Days Revisited.
Garage Days, the 598 EP. Garage Days Revisited.
This is a fucking badass EP.
It's 5 songs. I mean, it's kind of 6.
Kind of 6.
Kind of
It's got the
6.
2 Misfit songs at
Yes.
the end.
This was something when I don't know when you first got this or heard it, but I got this early on. Like I've talked about, coming online during Justice, then bought Master of Puppets, Justice, Black Album. But around that late 80s, early 90s era is when I discovered this EP.
Right.
And I thought because at the time, I didn't know who the Misfits were. I didn't know who Diamond Head was. I didn't know who any of
Many
these
people still don't know who Diamond Head is.
True, yeah.
Including members of Diamond Head.
Yes. Most members of Diamond Head don't know they're in Diamond Head.
They didn't know they were in Diamond Head until this EP was released.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things when I heard it, I thought these are Metallica songs.
I think a lot of people thought that. Yeah.
Like
The Misfits would probably be the highest profile band they covered for this.
I would say, yeah. I would say at the time, even now. I mean,
But they had covered Diamond Head though earlier, so maybe people were kind of because the '84 Creeping Death single.
Well, I mean, the original version of Kill 'Em All had "Am I Evil" on it.
Right.
I mean, that is a Diamond Head cover.
Right.
But even then, I mean, as we all know now, like, let's be honest, Am I Evil is a Metallica song.
For sure. Let's go ahead and sign whatever the legal document that needs to be signed. I'll sign it for them.
We have a lawyer coming by the studio right now. But yeah, so when I got that that EP, I thought like these were extra Metallica songs. This is something I've never heard. There was B-sides from a record or something.
So when do you remember when you sort of learned that it wasn't the case, and how did you feel about that? Were you disappointed or?
No, not at all. All it made me do was want to like research these bands.
Right.
But this is also pre-internet when I discovered this EP.
Right. 2013, 2014.
2015. Yeah.
A couple years ago. Yeah.
It was yesterday.
A couple days ago when you were on tour. Yeah.
I just was. I've never heard. I don't know this EP actually at all. I have a cheat sheet right now. No, I mean this would have been, I'd say, 1990, 91 for me. And a buddy of mine got it and played it for me. He's like, "Dude, have you heard this Metallica EP?" I didn't know what EP was.
Right. Well, should we explain what that is? Yeah.
It stands for extended play.
Right.
So it's, I guess, its origins would have been an extension of an album,
Of an LP.
Yeah.
Which is a long player.
A long play. Yeah, long player.
Which always confused me as a kind of a kid in the '90s of like, it's not an extended play. It's a short. It's a short record.
It should be an SP, a short play.
But it was meant. These were always meant to be sort of satellite releases around actual LPs.
Right, like Beyond Magnetic.
Exactly.
Is an extension of Death Magnetic.
Exactly.
Yes.
But it rarely kind of works out that way because EPs now, in fact, most people now, because of the climate of the record industry, they'll release an EP rather than an LP.
Right, yeah.
Because it costs half the money to make, and you hopefully get some traction on one or two songs, and you can go tour.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's not do a tangent on the dismal reality of
We've talked about this before.
current music industry.
We talked about this in the Lars episode with Napster, so...
look it up. Which we will do a whole episode on that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But yeah, so to me, when I first heard this, I thought, oh, these are Metallica songs. And I think that they have owned these songs and recorded them so well and embraced these songs so much that they have become Metallica songs, like Am I Evil, like The Prince,
Well, they did what you really aspire to do when you want to cover something, you make it your own.
And they have, yeah.
And I think they did, because for me, I always knew they were covers, so I came online with Black Album and Sandman.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, this was 4 years later.
Right.
So it wasn't hard for me to, as soon as I started going back, I was real hip to this. And Jason was my guy, and so this being Jason Newsted's first record, I always knew their covers, but I always preferred their versions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this thing wasn't like a minor little release they put out. Like, it went platinum.
Right.
Went fucking platinum.
Well, let's
5 songs went platinum.
Yeah. Let's contextualize it. I mean, this is in between, this is right off the Justice tour. Or not Justice tour, I'm sorry.
Puppets.
The Master of Puppets tour. So, that was them on the hot rise. You know? Highly anticipated. And it's said, let's just do the facts.
Let's
we got
do facts. How about some facts?
So, all right, recorded July 1987 at A&M Studios in Santa Monica and also at Conway Studios in LA. Released August 21st, 1987 on Elektra Records. So, they recorded it in 6 days. I mean, this shit was recorded and then came out real quick.
Oh, yeah. A little side note, A&M Studios is where my first touring band, we mixed our album.
Oh.
I didn't actually realize that's where they recorded this until like I was sorting together some facts in the last 2 days. And I was like, holy shit, my first touring band mixed our record where Metallica did a bit of
Was
Garage
there still
Days.
blood and vomit and bile and semen left over from these
Jason was still
sessions?
there, actually.
Jason
Yeah.
lives there.
He lives there, yeah.
That's where he does the Chop House Band.
Yeah, the
He's
Chop
there.
House Band rehearses there, yeah.
I do like that in the credits it says not very produced by Metallica.
Yeah.
And this is
Well, it's pretty raw.
Well,
I
this is
mean-
going to be a theme of as Ethan and I talk about this record. It's going to be a theme of it. It is a very, very raw record, very different than both Puppets and Justice, which it gives it its own really unique voice.
But still sounds great.
it sounds fucking awesome.
We have gotten emails from people that have said that their favorite production of any Metallica release is this.
Well, because it's so in your face and punchy, and to me, it sort of dispels the myth. One of the great Metallica myths that the bass was mixed out of Injustice for All as a
Right.
way of hazing Jason. Well, this is Jason's first actual release. His
The bass
first
is very prominent
and the bass
on
is
this,
prominent,
too.
and it sounds great,
And they chose cover songs where the bass is featured, like
especially in Crash Course.
Crash Course. It's the intro,
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. One thing I found interesting was that their UK label that put this out and their other stuff, Vertigo, they're the ones that suggested recording the EP because they were playing Monsters of Rock that year.
So they're doing Monsters of Rock in Donington, which is one of the biggest festivals you can play. And their performance there is legendary.
Right.
So they wanted to put out some original material to sort of coincide with that performance so they could make money and sell a product, right?
Right.
And I guess the story is the writing sessions really didn't bear much out except for what did become Blackened.
Right, Blackened,
So I guess
yeah.
Hetfield and Jason were hanging out. They sort of stumbled upon that riff that became Blackened, and they thought, that's too good to put on an EP. So that's gone.
Yeah.
And then James broke his arm skateboarding.
Yeah.
Which is not super metal.
It's kind of metal. I mean, I skate,
Yeah.
but I haven't broke my arm
Well,
skateboarding.
metal, we know this because we're enlightened human beings. Metal's an attitude. Metal's whatever. But
He had the fucking metal attitude while he was skateboarding.
yeah, what it's like, if he was like putting a bunch of skateboards in the shape of a pentagram and burning a goat and summoning the devil, and the devil broke his arm, that would have seemed more metal. But so James broke his arm. Sorry for that dark poetry. James broke his arm, so they were like, we don't have time to write. Let's just record some of our favorite songs.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Well, I mean, throughout their career, they've always made a point to tip their hat to all these influences, whether it's the Misfits, Diamond Head, whatever, Leonard Skinner, the whole Garage Inc. collection, which we'll cover one day. They make it a point all the time, and as we talked about the current UK Europe set, there's a cover slot.
Right.
They love educating people on what brought them up.
For sure.
Hey, like, this is what caused us to become Metallica. You should get into it too. This is Diamond Head. This is the Misfits. And I mean, I think it's amazing that like in the mid to late 80s, they were putting out an EP going and essentially saying the same thing. Like, oh, you like Kill 'Em All and Ride Lightning and Master of Puppets? Check this shit out. This is this. We're going to cover the songs that influenced us, that caused us to write those records.
Right. And I think you can hear, like, we'll do this on our track by track. I think a song like Helpless could have been on Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
But I think there's also moments in these songs, especially The Wait, that don't sound much like them.
Yeah.
In an interesting way.
I think Helpless could have been on Justice.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe if it was recorded cleaner. Because it's so the production
Maybe.
value of this record is so just live and messy,
It is, yeah.
in a good way. I mean that in an endearing way.
Yeah, for sure.
This record just fucking bashes you over the head. I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
and it's super fun. All right, so more facts. It's called Revisited because this what they called the Creeping Death single when they did the covers. They called that Garage Days Revisited. So
They called it, yeah.
So this was like a continuation of the them doing that in '84.
Totally. And I remember when I got this EP on CD, I guess. It said Revisited, and my first thought was like, well, what was the Revisited?
Right.
I didn't know at the time. I didn't have these facts online I could look up, But it's pretty cool that, like,
I didn't look these up online. I read these in a book.
I called James.
Jimmy James?
I called James and said, hey, why is it called Revisited, Mr. Het?
James, real quick, James. I know you're busy on the cake. Why is it called Revisited?
Is that Pawpaw?
It was kind of like a vegan Ethan meets Pawpaw.
It was. Speaking of Pawpaw, I heard recently that Pawpaw's gotten into some poetry.
No shit.
Yeah. Torben called me and said...
Oh, really? What'd he say?
He said, Ethan, I was very curious on a recent episode. Pawpaw spoke of some lyrics that my son and James agreed upon, and I was hoping you could read something from the Metallica history and transcribe it into poetry.
Wow. Well, let's check in on that and see what we got.
Yeah, what do we have?
Well, we're tickled to death to have you here in the Poetry Corner. I do believe I'm going to be reading from Ride the Lightning by Mr. Jimmy James Hetfield, Sr., Jr. Guilty as charged, but damn it, it ain't right. There's someone else controlling me. Death in the air, strapped in the electric chair. This can't be happening to me. Well, who made you, God, to say, I'll take your life from you? Flash before my eyes, now it's time to die. Burning in my brain, I can feel the flame. Well, wait for the sign to flick the switch of death. This the beginning of the end. Sweat chilling cold as I watch death unfold. Consciousness, my only friend. My fingers grip with fear. What am I doing here? Well, flash before my eyes. Now it's time to die. Burning in my brain, I can feel the flames. Someone help me, oh please, God help me. They're trying to take it all away, but I don't want to die. Someone help me, oh please, God help me. They're trying to take it all away, but like I said, I don't want to die. Time moving slow, minutes seem like hours. The final curtain call, I say. How true is this? Well, just get it over with. If this is true, I'll let it be. Wakened by a horrid scream, freed from this frightening dream. Flash before my eyes, now it's time to die. Burning in my brain, I can feel the same. Thank you for stepping on down into the Poetry Corner. We'll see you next time here.
Wow.
Who knew?
Gosh. Thought-provoking. God, so deep.
Oh, emotionally stirring.
Jeez. Papa. I mean,
Bowel stirring.
definitely bowel stirring. I knew that Papa could rebuild a carburetor. I knew that he could.
Yes, go on.
I knew that he could cook a mean casserole. But man, that to take the lyrics of Sir James Hetfield the third and turn them into just a poetic masterpiece is mind blowing.
Let's face it. We got Shakespeare. We got Emily Dickinson. We've got T.S. Eliot. We've got Ezra Pound, Dylan Thomas, Charles Bukowski, and now Papa. He's here.
He's up there with the greats,
He's
man.
there, dude.
I don't even read books about poetry, and I can agree with you that he's up there.
He didn't even write the fucking poem, but he sure as hell read it.
Well, you know what? I mean, this coincides very well with this EP. I mean, Metallica has. You laughed before I even finished. Metallica has made these songs their own, and you know what? Papa took it a step further. He took this and made this poetry his own.
He did. It brought a fucking tear.
Well, thanks, Papa, for stopping by. We appreciate it.
So here are some songs that they were going to record for it that didn't make it.
Let's hear it.
All, again, songs I've never heard of and have not since investigated. Other songs considered for the project ultimately dropped were White Lightning by Parallax, never heard of it. Signal Fire by Bow Wow.
By Bow Wow.
That sounds like one of Jason Newsted's early projects.
So it's not Little Bow Wow.
No, it's not. Well, it's not even Little Bow Wow. It's not Lil Bow Wow.
It's Big Bow Wow.
Biggie Smalls Bow Wow. And then also I'm No Fool by Gaskin.
Nobody's fool.
There you go. Fooling. Are we doing a Fool motif here?
What are the songs of Fool?
Fool on the Hill. Fool on the Hill. What else we got? More Fool songs. Come on.
I have one on top of my tongue.
Tip of your tongue. Fool on your
It's on the
tongue.
top of my tongue. Not
Oh, crap.
It's up here.
Well, should we move on until you remember it?
What a fool believe. I can't hit that falsetto, Michael McDonald. Damn you.
Oh, God.
What a fool believe. Can you do it?
No.
Do it.
No.
It's like, it's up there. It's too high for me.
God, who would have ever thought we were professional musicians? All right. The price was included they were trying to ensure that people would not overcharge for the record, which is why it's called the $5.98 EP. And they even put a sticker on there with the price that said, if they try to charge more, steal it, which that's cool. It's kind of, you know who borrowed from that? Remember that System of a Down record that they put on the record, Steal This Record?
Was that Toxicity?
I don't know.
Wake up! You want to? I don't think you trust.
Self-righteous suicide. Angels deserve to die. This is karaoke hour with Metal.
It really
Metal Up Your
is.
Podcast.
Time for a new jingle.
Okay, and then for CD sales, of course, they changed it to $9.98 because CDs then for EP length style releases.
wasn't that
were
in the
$10.
UK?
That was in the States.
That was in the States?
Well, because the $5.98 they was for cassette tapes. That's because
That's right. No,
in
in the UK, they left off the weight.
because they were trying to conform to modern industry music standards about the length
Society.
of an EP. Society, man.
Yeah, man, conform to society. Punk.
God damn.
Yeah.
Fuck the man. Kneel for the pledge. All right. It's been out of print since 1989. Considered a collector's item. I bet our friend Kent from the forums has like 700 copies of this.
Probably, yeah.
Do you have a copy of this?
I have it on vinyl.
Well, so the answer is yes.
So that's a yes. I thought the CDs were a collector's item, man.
I think it all is. Because them including it as it was like part of disc 2 of Garage Inc. So that kind of,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
makes
what,
it a
with
little less
that,
valuable.
Yeah, but
for a normal person to wanna hunt
that's
down.
a whole separate release, though. It's
Right.
like when a band you have the original version on vinyl of whatever band, and then 10 years later, it's like the 10th anniversary, and they reissue it.
Right.
It's like that makes the original less valuable. But I think the original Garage Days is still worth something on cassette and vinyl, and maybe CD. Maybe not CD.
Hopefully, it's worth at least $9.98.
I hope that my 8-track is worth something.
I do like that. So I did go back and get it. I don't remember how I got it. Like a friend had it, but my first real becoming familiar with the artwork of it was actually from Garage Inc. Because as everyone, all of our listeners know that I'm a '90s Metallica kid.
Sure.
On the back of Garage Inc. was the original picture, but the faces
Which
were
was
replaced.
so
with,
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Oh, it was a great throwback to that original release.
Did you know this? Supposedly in the liner notes is the first ever credited time that the word hella was used.
I don't know if it was the first time it was ever credited ever.
It's credited as being used like in mass media that way. It was like a Bay Area
in mass
slang.
media. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I my wife is from the Bay Area. Like, hella has definitely been a term for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm hella sure of that. But as far as in the media, yeah, it was definitely
you-
before No Doubt's hella good.
Have you hella fact checked that?
Hell yeah. That was a terrible use of hella, by the way. If you're from the Bay Area, I'm sorry. I'm hella sorry. Fuck.
You've let so many people down just now.
Hella did.
Okay, we're almost done with the facts here. Yeah, so the phrase he actually used in the liner notes, which I'm sure many of our listeners have seen this, but James wrote, after coming off the Puppets tour in February of 87, we needed a place to jam, and ended up in a fancy so-called real rehearsal studio. It, quote-unquote, hella sucked.
Hella sucked. Well, in some of these facts, I mean, there's accounts of them. You know, they rehearsed a lot of these songs in Lars's soundproofed garage.
Right, and guess who soundproofed that garage?
Fucking Newstead.
Jason Newkid.
Yeah, New Kid.
Which is how he was credited in the record.
New Kid owns the block. Lars explained this to me, and I said, "Who is this new kid? Donnie or Jordan? I don't know which one is. He's the bad boy, the cute one."
Does Torben generally like the bad boys or the cutie pies?
He likes the bad boys because he can hover around on his carpet and just hover around them and say, "Hello, are you good or bad? Oh, it's a bad boy. Climb aboard my carpet."
Take you on the magic carpet ride.
I'll just take on the magic carpet ride. It's going to be great.
Now, before we get into our track by track, I do think that this is a great little mission statement. It's the last thing James wrote in the blurb on the back of the record, and he says, "Don't take it all too seriously, because we don't." Which I think is a great little mission statement.
They do. I mean, maybe they didn't take like the photos and the packaging seriously, but I think they took. Yeah, the recording's a little rough. It's a little sloppy Joe, but I think
they take these songs seriously.
They do.
For sure.
I mean,
they honored these songs more than honored them.
I mean, I know Am I Evil is on this, but it's Diamond Head. It's like they take these bands seriously.
They loved these songs.
Yes.
And I think their love for them comes through.
But I can't, I like that he said that because they're coming off of Master of Puppets,
which was a real big, kind of serious record.
Very serious. And all of a sudden they put out this thing. And I mean, the intro to the whole Garage Days EP is,
right.
Like it's, and then, ready? And then drum intro starts,
And there's a lot of great kind of off the mic screaming and.
Totally.
It's super loose, man.
We'll talk about some track by track. I was about to bring up something else, but I'm not going to talk about
Let's
it
get
yet.
into the track by track.
Let's do it. Track by track.
All right. Helpless.
Helpless. I'm gonna go and say it right now. My favorite on this track, on this
really?
EP. Yeah, my favorite. And I'm saying this as a big Misfits fan.
Okay, so this means it beat out the two Misfits tracks.
It already did. Yeah.
All right.
It took. Yeah, two Misfits songs couldn't beat out this one for me. I think their version of "Help Us" by Diamond Head, by the way, is fucking awesome. And Clint and I, before we recorded this episode, Clint showed up at HQ1, the OG.
Right. That's right.
And we were listening to some of the original versions of this just to kind of, compare and contrast. And man, Metallica just fucking, like we talked about earlier, they make it their own.
Well, for sure. And I do think this song could have been on. You said Justice. I think the song could have been on Kill 'Em All. That was one of my takeaways.
It could have too. I mean, I think that main riff, that dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that could be on Justice.
I think I maybe meant like just even tonally, not even so much riff wise. To me, it's like feels like that real out of the gate, in your face.
Agreed.
Which by the way, all the tones are good. I mean, I think it sounds better than Kill 'Em All.
Yes,
this record.
Of course, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Obviously, they're in better. They're on the other side of Puppets.
Yeah.
So that things have changed for them a little bit at this point.
Slightly, yes.
The bass is nice and prominent. There's a nice punk attitude.
Yeah.
A great thrashy chorus.
I think Hetfield's vocal, especially on that thrashy chorus, and after listening to the original, which that guy sounds amazing, but Hetfield is, like, again, he owns the song. I think he really shines on the chorus.
I do too. I think out of all the listening to the original versions, which we did before we started recording, I think the original Diamond Head version probably sounds the best to me of all the original versions.
Yeah.
It would be the one I would be most likely, other than the Misfits. The Misfits kind of don't count.
Yeah.
The Misfits were the most known, and they people know who the Misfits are. No one really still knows who Killing Joke is and who Holocaust is.
Yeah. Who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hella Holocaust.
Hella who?
There's a really fun bass break after the second chorus.
I love that. I mean, again, this is Newsted's first.
And
this is his intro to the world of Metallica.
And if you think about it this way, so his first real recording was this 598 EP, Garage Days Revisited. And then the first track on Justice was a co-write from him. So he must have been feeling like, 87 to 90, he must have been feeling pretty damn good about shit, despite all his legendary hazing and feeling like they were sort of toying with him and shit.
I wonder what a letdown it was for him to do this EP, have such prominent bass parts, because that's what the original song was. Mm-hmm. But in the mix, I mean, it's there. It's it's Jason. He has that mean pick tone. To go from this into Justice, where it's like mute.
And he's talked about that. He's unfortunately saddled with being asked about the Justice controversy of no bass forever.
Of course, he will.
And one of his responses, he's like, look, I don't know. You're gonna have to talk to Fleming Rasmussen or talk to the guys who mixed it.
Right.
All I know is I showed up the same way we did Garage Days, did my bass parts, got out of there. Like whatever they did in the mix has everything to do with me.
Right.
And he's right. And as we've sort of alluded to in other episodes, we'll be able to see when the Justice box set comes out and see if they make it right. And
please.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Okay, what else we got on Helpless?
I think Hetfield's vocal take on this sounds like his takes on Justice.
Right. Oh, well, right. Well, I mean, this is kind of the Hetfield that would soon go on to record all those vocals.
At this point, they were already writing songs for Justice, what would become Justice. But I think his performance on Helpless is like, it's quintessential and Justice for All.
Well, any singer, you and I know this, and any of you out there who have done singing, you've heard some of it on this very episode. Nothing really. So you can have natural talent, and which James did have, but as we all know, his singing, especially up until they recorded Kill 'Em All, was pretty rough. There were even times where he didn't even want to be the lead singer, right?
Right.
So what you're hearing, I think, for the first time really on this EP is his confidence from all the touring.
Yes, agreed.
Master Puppets, their most acclaimed record, all the fucking touring they did, opening for Ozzy, all that stuff. Yeah. You're hearing what's kind of starting to become this confident Hetfield.
Yep, I agree. For sure.
And unlike Master of Puppets, this record did not benefit from months and months of scrutiny and overdubs, and this shit is raw.
Yeah.
So we're really hearing what came out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
I know that he didn't write these lyrics, but I really honed in on these lines of the way the emotion of the way he sings it. The stage is mine, music is my destiny. Cannot squeeze this life out of me.
Yeah. Can I squeeze this life out of me?
You know, like
Yeah,
it's
great.
so Hetfield. Like I can
Very.
see him getting into that. You know?
Well, I mean, it just goes to show like how influenced these dudes were by these bands.
Right.
I mean, that passion and the way he sings somebody else's song is coming out like crazy. You know, it's something that, you know, we keep saying that like they've made it their own, but I mean, what we're hearing is the early influence of this band before they became Metallica.
Right.
And right out of the gate on Helpless, it's like you hear this and you're like, fuck, these are the bands that made Metallica.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
It is kind of like, I see. You know, like
Yeah, oh,
I get it.
there it is.
Especially on Helpless. I would say Helpless might be the most indicative of that.
Yeah.
A great Kirk Hammett solo. I mean, from 86 to 90 in terms of speed,
Yeah.
Kirk was on fire.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think, in my
Yes.
opinion. There's a real loose ending. I love the Lars shit that you hear when he says, "Keep it going, let it ring out." Okay, turn it off.
Okay,
now.
turn it off. I'm done.
This song has been performed live 64 times.
We need to make it 65.
Let's make it 65. All right.
Come on, dudes.
Come on in. Hey guys, we're in the UK. We're in Birmingham. Let's make it 65.
But here's the thing: they might do it.
They totally might do. There's a slot for
There's a
it.
cover slot.
God damn it.
Do it, James. We're not recording right now, James. So if you're listening, go ahead and do it.
James is strictly off record. We just killed the recording session. This is just for between me and you, okay?
Off the record.
Just do it.
do it.
Like Nike. Just
Go for
do it. Nike swoosh.
Go for it, Nike. Nike swoosh.
I like the whisper. Let's just whisper the rest.
Let's whisper the rest of the episode. So
All right.
So the next track is great. The Small Hours.
Okay, the small hours.
Small Hours by Holocaust.
Holocaust, if you don't know, and I sure as hell didn't know, Scottish metal band founded in 1977. And this is weird. The song was actually not on one of their actual studio recordings. It was on their 1983 live record called Hot Curry and Wine.
Hot Curry and Wine.
Just a pretty... It's a both great and awful title, isn't it?
I mean, I like curry. I
You like
wine.
Hot Curry and Wine?
Maybe not mixed together, but
Oh, we got you some great hot curry tandoori chicken and some great warm Pinot Noir.
I mean, this is also, bands that they're influenced by, the new wave of British heavy metal. So maybe it's about, curry is a big thing in England.
Yeah.
But I also...
Some of the best Indian food I've ever had has been in England.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
They've-
and I
they've-
think it's in, correct me if I'm wrong, English listeners, I believe it's in Manchester. There's an area called Curry Row, or Curry Mile, maybe.
If only Danny Derryberry were here to tell us what's
It wouldn't
up.
be Curry Mile because they don't use miles over there. Curry Kilometer. No, I think it's
Metric system,
Curry,
mate.
Curry Row. And it's like just nothing but Indian restaurants. And
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's amazing.
There's a great, creepy, clean intro with that flanger, which, by the way, reminds me of, for all of our Alice in Chains fans out there, straight up Love, Hate, Love.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those dudes must
Oh,
have listened to this, too.
Agreed. For sure.
You know what I mean? You know that song Love, Hate, Love from Facelift?
Yep.
It
totally.
sounds like that.
Yeah. Great record if you're not an Alice Chains fan, by the way.
Alice in Chains' first record, Facelift, check it out. It's the one with Man in the Box and We Die
Yeah.
Young, but the whole record's great.
Oh, yeah. Bleed the Freak.
Oh, you want to do the whole track listing? Sunshine, Confusion.
Confusion.
Not that one.
Oh, wrong one.
Not that one.
That's a great record.
It's a great record. Bleed the Freak is great.
Bleed the Freak's amazing. Yeah. I made a note that this one kind of sounds like it could be on Puppets if it was their own song.
The main riff is fucking heavy.
Yes. Kind of in that vein of the thing that should not be. It's just a heavy,
it's
slower
that kind of
riff.
plotting, heavy
Yes.
thing. And I think this whole EP, it has a looseness and a funness to it, but this EP is creepy. Like, there's something creepy about it.
Yeah.
And part of it's sort of the subject matter of the songs, but
Totally. Well, I mean, the whole intro.
it is kind of a dark... Yeah. But I mean the whole record, though.
Yeah.
This whole record's pretty dark,
It is.
especially the Misfits shit. Lyrically, that's Green Hell is super duper fucked up.
Oh, the Last Caress. I mean,
Last Caress is so... Yeah, well,
I
killed a
raped
baby.
your mother
Yeah.
today. I mean,
It's a great Sunday school song.
It's really
It didn't matter much to me as long as she spreads. Oh my God, what? Again, every song I have to say this. The bass sounds great. The bass is right up front.
Yes.
And it matches well. The whole, I love Cliff Burton. I do. Like, I love him.
Of course.
But the whole like, oh well, he played with his fingers. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about that argument.
I don't either.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, and what Cliff did with his fingers,
is phenomenal.
of course, and it was very fitting for what they did on those first 3 records.
And there is a difference. Like, a pick sounds different than a lot of different tone, and I would maybe even argue sometimes better tone will come through your fingers.
Yes.
for sure.
For sure.
But the whole like, well, Jason plays with a pick,
So he sucks.
Robert plays with a finger. Like, fuck that. I don't care.
I don't care either. Yeah.
Because Jason playing with a pick on this record sounds fucking metal and rock and roll.
Well, I think Jason playing with a pick on any Metallica record sounds
great.
fucking great. The intro to
My Friend of Misery.
My Friend of Misery. Sorry, I'm blanking for talking about the CP. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, I don't have to get mad about that anymore. I think that if this song did have, like, so we got the Love, Hate, Love, Alice kind of
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
I think if the song did have harmonies, like kind of those creepy fifth, Alice in Chains always did those kind of low fifths.
Oh yeah.
It would sound like an Alice song.
If they would have brought in Cantrell to do the harmonies on this one, I think it would.
When he was a fetus?
When he's a fetus.
Or when he was 6?
I don't know. He would have been. I mean, when did Facelift come out? 89?
91.
91?
No, 90. 90.
It was 90? Okay.
90.
So this is only a couple years prior, so he wasn't, definitely not a fetus.
Well, yeah, this came out in 83. So he was definitely a fetus.
No, I'm talking about their version of it.
No, yeah. Metallica's version.
Not the original version.
Well, I mean the original.
I'm talking about the Metallica one, because they were homies.
Yeah, they were homies.
Yeah.
I wonder when they became homies.
Probably in the, I would say, early 90s, if I had to guess. I don't know when they met and became, besties.
I need to know this information.
Jerry, if you're listening, write us in, metalupyourpodcastshow@gmail.com.
Oh, he's listening.
Oh, yeah.
There's that great galloping riff after the second chorus.
Oh, that part's great.
And
Changes the pace of the song completely.
it does. And which is kind of classic Metallica, too. I mean,
Exactly.
Those kind of middle eights that just take these big left turns.
Yeah, and again, it's one of
It's
those.
like where they learned it.
Yeah, exactly. They're showing us how they learned it. They're giving us the fucking math lesson on Metallica.
Right. Is it a math? It's a math lesson.
Or science.
Too.
Social studies.
It's school. What? It's just.
It's,
We'll just put it under the
it's
banner
a
of
school lesson.
Let's see. And all the off mic scream. It sounds like they were having fun recording it. I have that note. I like the pinch harmonic solo from Kirk. Which starts with that kind of pinch harmonic. Ding, ding, ding. And another great. Kirk's great on this whole thing.
Yes, he is.
There's nothing that bums me out about Kirk on
Right,
this.
me too.
I did have a note. The last verse lyric: "Time is an illusion rising from time." That's not great.
I think it's great. I think Papa should repeat that line. I think it's a great part.
Well, time's an illusion that rises from time.
The illusion rises from the thing it's an illusion of.
Of course it is. Yeah.
The snake eats its tail.
Of course it does.
We're whispering now. Performed 7 times.
7 times.
The
Okay.
last time in 2009.
That recent. I mean, that's
Yeah,
almost
I was-
10 years.
I was
It's almost
surprised
10 years
too.
ago, but I mean, that's recent-ish.
Yeah.
I would imagine it would have been in like the 90s.
Yeah. They did it in 2009. I don't know
Wow.
what the circumstances were. Maybe one of you lucky listeners out there were present.
Let us know.
Send us that email.
Yeah, do it.
All right.
The Wait. The Wait by Killing Joke.
British metal band formed in 1978 from their debut self-titled record, Killing Joke.
I like when bands have an album or song named after their band. Like Anthrax had a song called Anthrax.
Black Sabbath.
Iron Maiden.
Backstreet Boys.
Creed.
Milli Vanilli.
Puddle of Mud.
Duran Duran.
Clint Wells.
Paw.
If you haven't heard the song Clint Wells by Clint Wells,
Oh my god, it's a thrasher.
it's a fucking barn burner.
Okay, another super heavy riff.
Yeah, my first note is the opening riff sounds like a Metallica riff.
I'm not crazy about the effect on the vocals.
I'd like it for the first two lines.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
if they,
from then they should ditch
it's
it.
kind of like Eye of the Beholder. Eye of the
Yeah.
Beholder kind of has that flangey.
Yeah. And for those who
thing.
know what a flanger or a phaser is, it's an effect that basically goes,
Think Pink Floyd. They actually just sample Ethan doing that into a
Is that
microphone
accurate?
and put it into a guitar pedal. Yeah. That actually is pretty good auditory evidence of what a flanger does sound
Thank
like.
you.
It's not great,
Thank
but
you,
it is
Clint.
good. If you listen to Breathe by Pink Floyd, that warbly,
yeah. Or any drum fill in the 70s.
well, there's a whole section of Life in the Fast Lane where they put everything on a flanger.
Yes.
The BGVs of the guitar, the
Yeah.
drums. Some really great engineer got credit for that.
Yeah.
I love the long notes in the chorus, the weight, like this, yeah,
Yeah,
and it's all
great.
verbed out and creepy.
Love it.
The double kick in the choruses is great. It's
Yeah.
that kind of great, sloppy but
A
tight.
little sloppy, but it sounds...
It sounds like Lars. Sounds
yes,
like Lars
it sounds
Ulrich.
awesome. It sounds like our buddy Lars.
Again, Jason's break sounds great, especially that breakdown. He shines in the breakdown.
I think Kirk's solo on the song sounds like, if you hadn't heard the original song, to me it sounds like something he would have written for the
Yeah,
song.
I agree.
It's very Kirky.
It's very Kirky, but also kind of unlike his tone in those days.
Yeah.
It's super verby and delayed.
Yeah.
This whole song has a bunch of eerie effects on it.
Yeah.
That kind of adds to the strange mood of it. Ooh, I'm suddenly in a forest.
Got really phasey in
God,
Metal
it's really
Podcast
creepy.
HQ.
All the lights are blinking. There's a jack-o'-lantern in the corner. Just came to life.
Weird.
The post-solo chugging is super heavy. Probably the heaviest moment on the EP.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you.
Performed 24 times. Again, last in 2009.
Man.
Yeah, different shows, though.
Okay.
All right, crash course in brain surgery.
Obviously, a highlight for Jason. The intro is fucking him doing the thing. Obviously a highlight for Jason. I mean, he the intro is fucking him with his harsh pick on the strings. Do 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 do.
So good.
It's so great. Yeah.
We were just listening to the original version right before we started recording, and the original version is interesting because it sounds on the right side like a fuzzed out bass, and then sort of a clean bass comes in.
It could
we
be a
couldn't
guitar.
decide.
It's weird. There's obviously much more low end on the left side when it comes in, but the first part could be a guitar or a bass. Tough to say. But the left side is definitely a bass. It's a cool. The original is cool if you
The
haven't heard
original
it.
is really
Yeah.
cool. Originally by, how do you say this name? Budgie?
I'd say Budgie.
Which is a Welsh metal band, and it's from the album Budgie from 1971.
Budgie sounds like it's like two famous brothers, and there's a third brother. It's like Tom Lord Alge and Chris Lord Alge are big mixers in the music world, and then there's their other brother, Budgie Lord Alge.
Yeah.
It sounds like your other brother that didn't quite succeed.
Like he had like a really great regal name, like Alexander or something. They were like,
Right.
nah, he's Budgie.
Everyone called him Budgie.
He's Budgie.
Oh, Budgie! Even when he's like 60 years old. Hey, Budgie!
Oh, Bartholomew. No.
No, Budgie.
Budgie.
Yeah.
One of my big takeaways. So this song is probably the best lyrics on the record.
Yeah.
Very cool, strange lyrics.
Yeah.
But that breakdown where they're all kind of moaning the oh baby rock and roll, oh no, oh
Yeah.
it's like a horror film.
It is, yeah.
It's
for
like
sure.
really creepy.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine when they recorded this, Jason was probably fucking terrified. I don't know at what point during this 6-day recording session that they recorded this song, but they're like, oh, you have to do the intro.
Yeah, step up to the plate. I mean,
Like Cliff Burton is
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Jason's first recording, he's like, even though it's a cover song, still do. Like he had to have been fucking terrified in front of those dudes.
I think he might have been. He probably was. But you got to also remember he had a lot of touring under his belt at this point.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And so, but you're right. The fucking tape's rolling,
Big
right?
shoes to fill. You know, you're not playing with your fingers.
Well, right. And they're not on a stage in front of 10,000 people. So
Right.
the tape's rolling. It's just these dudes in a room.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, I bet he was scared, but I bet, knowing how intense he is, I
Yeah.
bet he just stepped up to the plate and fucking knocked it out.
He probably did, yeah. I mean,
that was him, you know?
6 days total. I mean, what was it on Justice? He did all of his bass tracks in like 2 days?
2, yeah. But that was 2 full, we know like a full day can be 8 to 12 hours. So that was
Of course, yeah.
2 full days. But it's crazy about that. And we've already talked about Justice, but when he did that record, it was just him and the engineer. No one else was even there.
That's a bummer.
Isn't that kind of fucked up?
Hey, man, that's fucked up.
You think you guys maybe be there when I track out the bass?
What the hell? Just give me a little input. Maybe if you would have done that, maybe
All right.
the bass would have been louder.
Guess how many times Crash Course in Brain Surgery has been performed by Metallica?
I'm going to say 1.
It is 1.
It is?
Are you serious?
I was guessing,
Did you
actually.
already
yeah.
know that?
No, I didn't look it up because I know you always look that stuff up.
I do.
So I choose not to because I think it's fun for our show
How
to
did,
have
you
a
guess
little...
how did you guess the correct answer?
Because in my head, I thought it was 0, and I didn't want to guess 0, so I said, let's do 1.
They played it one time in 1987.
87.
Yeah, in 87 they did this show. I believe it was actually in the UK. I think it was in London, where the encore was this whole EP.
Awesome.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to see him do it again.
Oh, me too. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, obviously, then...
But you know why they can't do it again? Because Robert doesn't play with a pick.
Oh, that's why. Robert. Well, the next track, I mean, obviously they have done for a long time.
Last Caress, Green Hell.
I got something to say. I killed your baby today. Doesn't matter much to me as long as it's dead. I got something to say. I raped your mother today. Doesn't matter much to me as long as she's dead. Food of the day, just waiting for your breath. Come sweet that one last caress.
You know what? Let's go ahead and start the notes with this. You know how many times this song's been played?
10,473.
Well, Last Caress has been played 797 times. So
Fucking, yeah, that's awesome.
Green Hell only 11, and I'm sure 11 of those were 11 of the 797 were this sort of medley. But this is probably the biggest takeaway from this record in terms of what lived with them.
I mean, and this is also, I mean, obviously one of the most played cover songs by Metallica. This and maybe "Die Die My Darling" from
Right,
Misfits,
another Misfits tune,
which they're currently
well,
playing.
Turn the Page and Whiskey in the Jar would be up there, but
Yeah.
Last Caress is
"Whiskey
probably
in the Jar" is probably my favorite Misfits song.
Well, I'm talking about their covers.
I know.
It's my favorite Black Sabbath song.
You know, I think Stained fucking killed this when they wrote it. You know,
Oh, Aaron Lewis,
Aaron
premier
Lewis is
songwriter
just-
of our time.
I don't even want to talk about him doing nothing.
Dude, when
Else
he
Matters.
wrote Iron Man,
Oh.
I cried.
Oh, I cried when he wrote that in 2015.
I cried out of my eyes and out of my butt. I did. Don't laugh. I did.
I cried out of my ears.
Well, they murder this shit. No
oh
doubt.
my gosh, you kidding? And I love the intro. You hear like the tape hiss, and it's like the hi hat count off, and like that
Yep.
little beep.
Yep.
And Hetfield's vocal on this, I mean,
I got something to
fucking
say.
aggressive as shit. It's so good.
It's better than Danzig's.
Okay, here's the thing.
It makes me sad to say that, but I think it is.
I'm a Misfits fan.
Yeah.
Not only am I a fan, I'm kind of a client.
I'm a member.
Well,
Not only am I
well, no joke. I've done, I think 2 or 3 Misfits cover nights in Nashville
Oh, okay.
on Halloween. Of course,
I
you
guess
have
my
to.
invitation to those got lost in the fucking mail.
The last one we did was right before I met you.
Okay.
So
I forgive you.
So fuck off.
Oh.
I love you. I'm sorry. No, so I love the Misfits. I mean, of all the projects Danzig has done,
Is that why you dress like Doyle every day? I've never
Yes.
put 2 and 2 together.
Yes.
Why you're shirtless and muscular
and buff
and with the white face paint.
Exactly. You finally get it, Clint. Jeez. No, I mean, I think of all the projects that Danzig has done, it is my favorite. I love the band Danzig. I like a lot
do
of
too.
Sam Hain stuff. But the Misfits, I mean, being like a punk rock guy, I mean, they were a punk rock band. They got kind of dubbed as horror punk because of very dark lyrics and things like that. but that's my favorite era of Danzig is the Misfits shit.
Yeah, and he did what two or three records? It wasn't
They
a
did
lot.
a couple. They did a couple records in EP, and yeah, I mean, but that is the classic Misfits. Like,
Right.
Jerry Only has carried that on for a long time, and until a year and a half ago, maybe at Riot Fest,
They did a reunion,
They did
yeah.
a reunion with everybody but the original drummer.
And they played the record that Last Caress is from, right? After Earth AD, or what was the record they played?
Earth AD. Well,
They played that in its entirety.
and you know who's on drums?
Who?
Fucking Dave Lombardo from
No
Slayer.
way.
Yeah,
Really?
A lot of old school Misfits fans wanted this guy named Robo to be on drums, and he didn't do it. I
actually got that wrong.
Dave fucking Lombardo. They didn't. What's that?
So Last Caress is on the Beware EP. They didn't play that. Green Hell is on the After Earth thing.
Yeah, Earth AD.
Earth AD. They played that in its entirety at that show you're talking
Yeah,
about.
they played a bunch of other stuff too.
Right,
Like,
but
they played the
right.
hits.
All the hits.
All the Misfits
all their
hits.
2 hits that Metallica made for them.
Yeah,
Or 3.
2 or 3. Yeah.
Die, Die, My Darling, yeah.
Here's something that is interesting to talk about. How many bands have made a shitload of money because Metallica covered them? Clearly, Diamond Head.
Well, I think they did, from the mid 80s to the late 90s they did. But
Well, I mean-
tell you what, if they've been living off that, that shit dried up real quick.
You have, I mean, but if you're like, let's say you're the guy that wrote "Am I Evil?"
Right.
You're in
Sean
Diamond Head.
Harris.
You wrote it,
And Brian Tyler.
right? And it was originally on one of the versions of Kill 'Em All, and then it was on the B side of Creep and Death.
Creep. Then it was on Garage Days revisited, then on Garage Inc.
Well, Am I Evil wasn't on Garage's revisited,
But
then
Helpless was.
But yeah, Helpless was. So you got
got
money.
a
You
cut
got
on
money
that.
there.
You
Yeah,
got all those cuts.
and then both of those fuckers and fucking
The Prince?
the Prince,
Yeah.
was on Garage Inc.
Yeah.
Those, I mean,
It's no joke. That's probably was millions and millions of dollars.
well, I mean, this EP went platinum,
Right.
So it's mind-boggling to me that like this guy, like Glenn Danzig, probably doesn't need the money, but like
I
Metallica
bet
has.
he does. I bet he does.
He buys a lot of cat litter. He does. Have you not seen that photo of him?
No.
Like leaving a market, and he's got like 2 grocery bags full of cat
my
litter.
God.
It's awesome.
Well, in the making of of Garage Inc., there's a great making of 40-minute documentary. I'm sure have you seen it? It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's them in the studio with our homie Bobby Rock.
Oh yeah, Bobby R.
Because by the way, the first disc of Garage Inc. is basically it's them doing covers, but it's
new recordings.
but it's that 90s Metallica.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that.
Oh yeah. Disc 2 is all the stuff that was previously released.
Disc 2 is the revisited EP plus B-sides and shit.
Yeah.
But disc 1, and so anyway, there's a documentary about it, and James even says, he's like, and he's talking about it in financial terms. He's like, this was our way of kind of not only paying tribute, paying homage or whatever, but also like trying to help these bands that never had the success we had.
Can you imagine being in that position? Like, man, I'm a really big fan of this tiny band from the UK that no one's ever heard of. Let's cover their song and give them like 800.
I can't
grand
imagine. I'm waiting for them to cover the song Clint Wells.
by Clint Wells.
By Clint Wells.
Yeah. I'm gonna write a song called Ethan Luck soon.
You know, a lot of fans on the forum, maybe not a lot, maybe a subset, but a vocal subset, have said that they want Metallica to do another record like this.
I agree.
I don't know. What if it? I mean,
I'd be
'cause
down.
they're at a point now where it's like, all right, what if in 2019 you get, what if in 2019 you get nothing, but in 2020 you get a new full length Metallica record, and then the alternative is in 2019 you get a 5-song revisited esque EP,
Okay.
but then you don't get another full length for 2 or 3 more years. I'd rather get more original songs.
Well, sure. I'm sure everybody would. I feel like it'd be fair if you can go in the past and between Death Magnetic and Hardwired, if that 4-year of the 8-year mark,
There was an EP of
there was an
covers.
EP of
yeah,
covers.
yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. I
Something
agree.
to just tie us over a little bit,
Right.
Because it was a long fucking wait, as we talked about in this record.
Oh, and imagine just sitting there in all the small hours, helpless.
Oh my gosh, Helpless. I mean, there was a point where I thought, God, I'm just in a green hell.
Oh, I know. Well,
Whenever I saw a little update, I was like, well, I guess this is just the last caress. I don't think we're ever going to hear anything from these guys.
Yeah. It's like I'm taking a crash course in brain surgery. I didn't know how to fit it in. The dad jokes abound.
Oh, the hell it did.
They hella did, bro. Well,
I got one more thing to add to this.
okay.
Before our little outro. Speaking of outros, there is an outro on this.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Where they're kind of playing sort of dissonant, clunky.
Do you know what it is?
No, what is that?
It's "Run to the Hills" by Iron Maiden.
Oh, I did not know that.
And they're playing it out of tune. I think on purpose.
Oh, it's out of tune. Yeah, it doesn't sound like
Very out of tune.
Oh, I didn't know that was Run of the Hills.
Yeah, it's "Run to the Hills."
Have they ever properly covered Maiden? They've never done it, have they?
Which is surprising.
Isn't that weird?
They talk about a lot of bands they never covered. Judas Priest.
Yeah, have they never covered Priest?
Not that, I mean, maybe live a little bit. I mean, think about, like, they worship those guys and Rob Halford, and, like, it's surprising they haven't covered them. But
They've only done the 2 Sabbath tunes, which they did another kind of. It's similar to Last Caress and Green Hill. They mashed up.
They've done a Ramon song. I mean,
Yeah.
But this outro, I remember back then it made me laugh because I was into Maiden at the time.
Yeah.
And it's super out of tune. I wonder if they were just. It might have just been a total like, we're just going to goof around and just like do this thing.
Oh, that's what it sounds like.
Or I wonder if at one point they actually tried to cover it, and then maybe they thought, God, Bruce Dickinson sings really high. We can't do that.
Yeah. Run for your life.
Exactly.
Like, do we want to do that? But, I feel like if they had covered Maiden, they wouldn't cover, like, that's like Maiden's most popular song.
I feel like if they were going to cover Maiden, they would probably do something like off the first record.
Because most of their covers are, like, first record, like, pre-Bruce Dickinson?
Yeah.
Holy
With
shit.
old Paul.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Paul Moak? Paul?
Paul?
Is Paul here?
Paul Giamatti?
Paul Giamatti. WNBC.
Wasn't he in Iron Maiden?
Oh, he was in Iron Maiden for like 36 years.
Like, I wouldn't mind hearing Metallica covering "Running Free."
Yeah.
I'm running free. Or Hetfield. I can't do it.
Do it.
I'm nervous now. I'm running free.
Free out.
Yeah.
It's one of their bigger hits, and when I saw them, they actually ended it with it. But I wouldn't mind seeing Metallica cover "Wasted Years."
Ooh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Wasted Years would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my favorites, The Trooper, The Clairvoyant. Yeah. Fear of the Dark.
Yeah.
That's some high vocals, though.
It's a long
you
one,
can't
right?
fuck with Bruce, man.
No, he sounds as good as ever.
Oh, yeah.
I just saw him this year. Saw
Yeah.
him 2 months ago, and he fucking killed it. The whole band was great.
Oh, yeah. All 3 guitar players.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. But yeah, anyways, all that to say, I thought, that was a funny little outro to the EP.
Yeah.
Them kind of paying homage, but
Well, that's why I was saying, like, I liked when James said in the liner notes, like, don't take it too seriously. We didn't. You're right. They take these songs seriously.
they do.
But the recording, to me, sounds like a band in between 2 massive projects
that recorded it in 6 days.
that were very serious. I mean, does it get more serious than the record Injustice for All?
Or Master of Puppets right before this.
Those records are fucking serious. Dude.
I mean, Master of Puppets and Justice for All are the bread of this.
And they sort of betray how funny the band is and how kind of goofy they could be.
Yeah.
And that's why this EP, I know a lot of our listeners, especially our more OG type listeners, this is a really big record for them.
Yeah.
I mean, some of our, when we tweeted on Instagram that we were going to be doing this, a lot of people said, can't wait for this one, the best EP ever. This represents a lot of fun energy for a lot of fans, us included.
I mean, in my personal life, I would say it might be my favorite EP ever.
Favorite EP ever?
Well, I mean, it's the first one that this is what taught me what an EP is.
What about Ricky Martin, Livin' La Vida Loca, which included the Livin' La Vida Loca remix, the Livin' La Vida Loca dub mix, the Livin' La Vida Loca Brian Eno surfing
with the alien
in
mix?
Space mix? What about that? It's better than that to you?
God, that one's pretty good. I mean, the J-Lo EP, though.
Oh, Jenny from the Block?
It was the Jenny from the Block remix.
Oh, for sure. The Orbit remix?
Yeah, there's that one. There's the Trujillo bass remix.
Oh my God, for
it's,
sure.
Finger style only.
Finger style only bass, yeah.
And then there was also the
what else was on it?
It was the Newstead Chop House
Chop
remix.
House mix,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Chop House mix was
Jenny
great.
from the Block, yeah.
Yeah. Jason from the Block, it was called. Yeah.
All right.
On that note,
write in the Metal Up Your Podcast show if you want to talk about the EP. We might read it on the show. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, face crap,
all the bullshit. Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook, so you'll have to just interact with old Ethan Luck on there.
Yeah, it's me. What's funny is whenever, not every time, but sometimes I'll respond and specifically say Ethan at the end of it, as if you're on there.
Yeah.
So I need to stop doing that. If you're on Facebook and you're writing in, it's just me responding. So,
well, and here's the deal too. This iTunes contest is no joke. We're giving away this box set at the end of November, the Master of Puppets Deluxe box set. All you got to do is leave us a positive review. And the thing about leaving that review is you're eligible for every iTunes contest we do henceforth.
Ever.
We're going to be, think about this. We're going to be doing a contest every month next year.
Yes.
Where there are multiple winners, not just one winner.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to have like a big prize, like the deluxe box set. Then we're going to have things like these t-shirts.
We're both staring at these t-shirts and a hat right now. We haven't even talked about the hat. We'll talk about that later. But
that our friend Tiffany gave us. We have a hat that was given to us by a member of the crew of Metallica.
Yeah, we have all sorts of cool shit we're going to give away next year.
So anyway, so go leave that review and get on board with us. Help us out. That's just a way to give back. Ethan and I have devoted hours and hours and hours to this, and we're so grateful you all listen. The other thing you can check out is the Patreon. You can get that EP. You can get the Unnamed Feeling. You can get a shout out on the show.
Yeah, patreon.com/metalupyourpodcast.
Oh, let's talk about what we're doing in November. So we're going to revisit Hardwired because it's been November marks the year anniversary since it came out.
Yeah, we're going to revisit that.
We're having our friend Paul Moak back on the show.
Paul Moak is coming back. Paul?
Are you here yet?
Paul Moak's coming back because we're going to do an episode on our good buddy, Mr. Fiddleman.
Greg Fiddleman.
Yeah.
If you don't know, he produced Hardwired to Self-Destruct. He engineered and basically produced Death Magnetic.
Yeah.
With the absent Rick Rubin.
And has a huge hand in all their live recordings now and everything you see online.
He's a big part of our current, era of Metallica.
Yeah, he's actually on an episode of Lars's show, It's Electric.
Oh, cool. Haven't heard it. So that's coming up in November.
And also, what I'm most looking forward to, some kind of monster. Yeah.
Ethan and I will sit down and watch Some Kind of Monster, and we will talk about it on the show.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So thank you to all of you who listen every week. We know your time's valuable. We know your lives are busy and crazy, just like mine and Ethan's are.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And as long as you guys keep listening, we're going to keep talking about Metallica.
Yeah. Well, even if you stop listening, we'll probably keep talking about Metallica, but we probably won't record it.
I didn't want to say it out loud, but that's for sure.
Well, I mean, if people stop listening, we'll still talk about it. I just won't hit record.
Well, the cool thing is that the show grows every week. Every week outperforms the week before it almost.
It is crazy,
and, we're coming up on 20,000 downloads a month.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. If you follow us on social media, you recently saw that we hit 75,000 downloads.
We're already at 90.
Yeah, we're gonna hit 100 soon. It's mind-boggling. We're less than a year old. This is it's cool.
So
we can't thank anybody but you guys for helping us get there.
Yeah. So don't leave the episode without knowing how grateful we are that you all listen. So go check out all the shit we talked about. Be a bigger part of this machine that we're developing.
Yep.
Get on the ride with us. It's not stopping anytime soon. And with that, let's just say peace.
Adios.
If you were our advisor, what would you say? Then I would say delete that.